Keith Lamont Scott was a jolt to the system. It was a jolt to the city of Charlotte. It was a jolt to me individually and to others individually. I think this is the first time that we've always had our history with regards to race relations in this country. And I think up until that point, Charlotte felt isolated and insulated from all the events that were happening around the country, that we were not going to be Ferguson or Baltimore. Well, they got a little surprised when they became those very same things that other people were dealing with. And although we were able to look at those events in other cities and go, oh, well, that's only happening there, now it's at our front door. We didn't have a choice but to deal with it ourselves. I think the biggest change for me was just having people recognize the pain of seeing someone that looks like me, somebody from my community, somebody from my group, seemingly senselessly shot for no other reason, unarmed, or there are too many questions regarding his shooting that were left unanswered, or could have been resolved quickly. I think that was also one of the things that just really bugged me about this whole situation, is that if the police felt so sure and justified in their shooting of him, they could have squelched a lot of that rioting and all that protesting by being forthright with the evidence they did have. They could have probably saved everybody a lot of heartache and trouble, including the Scott family, if they had just been forthright with the video and not leaving people suspicious and wondering what was so secretive about what they were doing. So one of the things I think that came out of it for me personally was that with my colleagues and my co-workers, we were able to have open and frank and brutally honest discussions about race relations and how personally those shooting of all those black men, particularly last year, affected us directly, and how one of the black men who was in our group discussions felt like he too was another Keith Lamont Scott, that it was just a matter of time before he could feel himself in that same situation. And I don't think they understood just how tenable our sense of insecurity with regards to our own safety was affecting us on a day-to-day basis, particularly with all the things that were happening last year. So I think that for us, if anything good came out of it for me and for those I work with, is that we were able to have those discussions, even to the point now that we really ramped up our I&D council for our office, and we're having many, many more dialogues and really pushing the issue and really being intentional about making sure that we express ourselves and people understand both sides of the argument, both sides of many points of view about how we see race in this country, how it's affecting us, and how you now have a face of someone who's being affected by what's happening in the country and in the news.